Hello. So this is Unity we're looking at, and I thought I'd show everyone how the procedural generation works in the sewer level so far, because it's pretty nifty. I'm a big fan, and we're releasing it to our Kickstarter backers. We backed it tier 3 and higher. So yeah, and it's but obviously no visuals, so you'll feel how it works, but you won't see how it works. And because it's quite interesting, I thought it'd be good to just explain. If we press play, you'll see the generation happen. Okay, so basically there's a game object called sewer level spawner. What that does is we have a series of 100 by 100 tiles, each with different level segments. Just pause for a second. As each tile gets instantiated or created, spawn, whatever you want to call it, the level spawner knows which tile went before it. So say we're going from west to east. The tile spawner will start by spawning the west to east tile. So that's essentially a straight line. Because you're coming in from the west, you exit the east. Then it has a choice of picking west, because if you're leaving from the east, you're coming in from the west to then go north, or west to then go south, or there's a very small chance it will go west to east again. And then it places a different tile which has a west entrance and a northerly or a southerly exit. Then the level spawner moves up or down the space of a tile depending on whether or not it went north or south, and knows that the last tile, say it was west north, so then it needs to have something with a southerly entrance. So then we're going to get something that goes south north or south east. There is no southwest, because in order to stop the tile generator sort of going back on itself, everything either moves east, north, or south, and that way you don't get any sort of looping round and overlaying of tiles, and so on and so forth. So eventually, and it's got a counter for each tile, and the max counter is set to 20. So what happens is you end up with these 20 tiles that are sort of randomly generated. They're always heading either north, south, or eastwards, but the order in which they do that is different every time you generate it. And because there's a max counter, you can decide how long you want the level to be. Another thing about having the counter is, as you want there to be a sense of progression throughout the sewer level, you want the things within it to change. So for example, we have various types of ghouls in the sewer at different stages of development, and the idea is that it becomes gradually more spooky, and so the ghouls gradually get into sort of further and further states of decay. So initially you've got people who are sort of humans, sort of not, but by the end you've got these ghouls that are completely animalistic and fully degenerated, and so that gives a sense of progression while still allowing for this sort of procedural generation. And the same is true for direct dialogue. Now the idea within the sewer is that you move away from the ghouls and more recently towards the director. So I think the director pops in a bit too frequently at the moment. Yeah, so as you're walking along, you'll hear a ghoul, you'll be like, ah, that's really spooky. and then you want to go in the opposite direction of said ghoul. So I'm just going to play a bit. And, yeah.
They cast me here to wait around in the dark, looking around at the magic.
Okay, so I've centered the director. I'll move towards him. Alright, now he's faded away. If I keep moving forward, horrible ghoul.
Finding information like some sort of low-level spy. I must know. I am the creator. Itself. More than a pawn on their board. More than a drop of sweat on their blood. I am the creator. The garden of
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Now the ambience is all procedurally generated, or I suppose randomized, but essentially you have 20 different types of sewer sound, one in each corner of each tile, and they're little short clips. And what happens is they fade in and fade out, those short clips. And what that means is if you random, and they're all played as one shots. So what you end up with is you play this piece of short ambience that lasts, say, 15 seconds, that fades in and fades out. Now every like 8 to 12 seconds, it will pick another piece of ambience to play a one-shot from. And then that will fade in and sort of lattice over the top of the other piece of ambience. And this is happening on each of the 4 corners. And the reason it's better to keep the audio files short is that when you play, say you've got 5 different audio files, they can combine in 25 different ways, right? Just for the 2 of them. Yeah. Because you can have 1 with 1, 1 with 2, 1 with 3, 1 with 4, 1 with 5, and then 2 with 1, 2 with 2, 2 with 3, 2 with 4, 2 with 5, etc, etc. Now if you have those in each 4 corners, you only need, 10 or 20 short ambiences, but you still get the impression of it being slightly different each time. Because a sewer, in much the same way that the proverb goes, you never cross the same river twice, because it's constantly flowing. A sewer's drips and droops and flow of sewage would be the same as that. So yes, there's a little overview of how the sewer works. We'll be releasing it this Friday, which is pretty cool for all those Kickstarter backers. Obviously still needs a lot of work, but nevertheless quite interesting. I hope you enjoy giving it a go.